Another world parallel to ours that we do not know. We call them jinn in Arabic. The unseen world, we call them jinn. And they are mentioned in the Quran. So the Prophet, peace be upon him, was not just sent to mankind, but to the jinn also, you know? And we have even a chapter called chapter jinn. Now, as to the message being just to the Arabs, no. It just happened that the Prophet was an Arab and was born into the Arab. But after the death of the Prophet, even when the Prophet was alive, he did send letters to the Persian and to the Byzantine and to the Coptics. He sent them letters. These letters, he was asking them to come to the fold of Islam. After the death of the Prophet, then the Muslims went to spread Islam.
But how did they spread that? Because that's now we've moved on to a good point.
Yeah.
We're talking about spreading. Now,
Spreading, yeah.
for me, I don't think how Christianity has been spread, Islam has been spread, I don't think they have been just. And I'll explain why.
Okay. Yeah, explain
I'll
why.
explain why. For example, Christianity and Islam have been, to date, one of the most invasive practices, right? Meaning, they're the only religions so far to date that have gone to other people, enslaved them, and indoctrinated them. The Christians did it, the Arabs did it, right? That's because, for example, Senegal. When the Arabs went to Senegal and enslaved these people, before the Western slavery, they weren't Muslims. They were doing their own thing. But what's happened is you've gone there and said, listen, no, we're going to civilize you and you have to follow our religion. Well, I'm from Ghana. Before the British went to Ghana, they said, look, no, what you're doing, we revered our ancestors. That's what we do. We have our own practices. These are people these black people are older than you. You're going to older people and telling them that this is your story, you must adhere to it while enslaving them. That's why they've been so invasive today. Now, when I go back home to Ghana, I see Christians, I see Muslims, and those that practice African spirituality, we look down at them and say, that's black magic, that's this, and that's that. That's my point.
That's your point. Okay.
That's my point. That's what I've seen in history.
Now, do you believe in a deity? No.
I'm a monotheist. I believe in God.
In
I
God,
believe in
yeah.
one God. Yeah.
So, this God that we believe in,
Yeah.
his name is Allah. That's the God we believe in as Muslims.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I understand, yeah.
Even Arab Christians, they call him Allah.
Yeah.
If you look in the Bible in
Ilah,
Arabic,
this
Allah.
I know, yeah.
Allah in Syriac, Allah in Aramaic, the same. Ilahi, Elay, Elohim, all Semitic sister languages. Yeah. This God has told us through prophet, to worship him.
Okay.
So the message is an international message. It's to all. Now, when this God, the Almighty, commands a command, as a believer, should we follow that command or not?
It's up to you.
No. Yes, it's up to you.
Remember,
as a believer.
No, it's not a knowing.
No.
To believe.
No, I believe,
Yeah.
and Allah tells me to pray, so I pray. He tells me to fast, I fast. He commands me to give charity, I give charity. He commands me to go to pilgrimage, I've been to pilgrimage. Whatever Allah commands me, I do, because I want to be a righteous believer.
Okay, yeah.
So
Yeah,
God has sent us the command saying that He is the only true God and that He ought to be worshipped by mankind. Now, we believe that those who are not, they are oppressing themselves, and they are disobeying the God who has created them. So,
Okay, I agree with that.
As Muslims, we want the goodness for everyone. So let me tell you one thing. I think you compared us enslaving, and you compared us to the Christians with constant. No, I'm coming there. I'm coming there. No place where Islam has been has stayed non-thriving. Look at Spain, 832 years. 832 years, and everything came there. What is the enslaving in Spain? Nobody was enslaved. You're talking about Africa. You're talking about Africa. Let's go to Africa. The first country that the Muslim went to, where the Prophet has sent them, was Ethiopia. Did you know about that? When the Muslims were persecuted,
Yeah.
and the Nagash, who was the king of Ethiopia at the time, Abyssinia, I should
Yeah,
say
Abyssinia,
Abyssinia, yeah. Abyssinia of the time, the Prophet sent him Muslims to live amongst
This
his,
I know.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, do you believe that the Muslims will repay the kindness with injustice? No. The slavery and everything else didn't come with the first armies that went.
Yeah.
It came well
Yeah. I'm
after
still referring that.
after they were Muslims.
No.
After, look, when Islam entered Africa,
Yeah.
you know when? In 622.
Yep.
622, 7th century.
We had our own practices.
Listen to me. Listen to me. If the Muslims, look at this so that you know carefully. Muslims, okay. Muslims, whenever what they do, this is that how they should give 3 days. 3 days, they come to a place and they have the choice. They give you 3 choice, which the Christians never did, or the pagans like the Normandic, like the Vikings and that never did, which is accept Islam or give jizya, a tax, or we fight. So most of the places they didn't even want to fight. They either accepted Islam or they accept paying a tax and living.
What was the third one you said? And to fight.
Or to fight, yeah, or to fight.
Now, do you understand how arrogant and egotistical that is?
No, it's not.
Okay, hold on. I heard you. You are going to another people's land, right? And saying to them, accept our way, for we have the truth, right? Abandon what you've been doing, and
Which
come
is
to us.
paganism.
But that's what I'm saying. That's how you see it. And when you have these books, it carries ego arrogance.
How
right?
can it be ego?
Because you are going to another people's home, and especially note this: these people are older than you.
It's got nothing to do with age.
Hold on.
It's nothing to do with age.
It has everything to do with it. And I'll tell you, because these practices are older than yours. Hebrew, that's the inception of your book, yeah?
Are you a Hebrew Israelite?
No. I'm monotheist. Even now, I don't agree with that.
Okay.
This book is 3,000 to 8,000 years old. That's how old Semitic languages.
Yes,
The people that you're going to have practiced these things for more years than that.
Look,
it precedes that. So wait, hold on. Let me land.
Okay.
So when you're going to another people and you're telling them, accept my way, take what did you say, Jizya? Was it
Jizya?
Yeah.
Or
fight.
yes.
You're going to another people and telling them you have these options, or you must die. That's the arrogance ego.
It's
and
not
that's
arrogant.
the same
It's
practice.
not arrogant.
Hold on. Let me say one more thing. Then I'll let you out. I'm sorry.
Okay.
That's the same approach that the Portuguese, let's say for example, the Portuguese in the
Mozambique,
1600s, Mozambique and Angola.
Yeah.
They sent Barreto, the church sent Barreto. They went to the Angolan and said, look, you must leave your practice, get baptized, and bow to Portugal.
Yeah.
If not, you must die. We will come here for war. You see, that's that ego, and that's why today.
But there is a big difference. There is a big difference in what they say.
Yeah?
They
I'm
ask
listening.
to abandon. We don't ask people to abandon. We ask them, you know what, jizya?
You say it was paganism.
No. Look what I'm saying to you.
Yeah.
You know what's jizya?
No.
Jizya is you pay a tax.
Oh, yeah.
You pay
Like
a
zakat.
tax like zakat.
Yeah.
But no, actually, it's
Oh,
a lot less than zakat.
Zakat is charity.
Look, now that, zakat is charity. Jizya nowadays would be the equivalent of $30. $30. As a Muslim, I pay a lot more than that on my money. So at the end of the day, people used to, but you remain on your religion. Remain on your religion. No one is gonna come and put a sword to your dead. But I tell you what, as a monotheistic person, you would agree. Which is worse? For us, Allah has commanded us to spread His religion.
Right.
Okay.
But has it been done justly?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying to you.
Oh,
when you are given these three, let me give you an example. Let me give you an example that has been done justly.
Yeah.
When the Muslims went, the Muslims army went to Spain in 622. Before they went, you know that the gods, the Nordics, they came, they enslaved the Catholics in there that were in there. So the Catholics, when they heard about the Muslim, they asked them. The army was 32,000. How can an army of 30,000 takes over the peninsula, the whole Iberian Peninsula, until 30 kilometers away from Paris in less than 5 years? How can that happen? If it wasn't with the help of the people. The reason why, because no one enforced them to abandon their religion, and no one has tortured them, enslaved them like what the gods used to do. Like what the gods used to do. So people either accepted Islam or have remained, and the Jews too, they were there, have remained on their religion. During 832 years, wouldn't you think if this religion was unjust, there will be a reminiscence of Christianity or Judaism?
I'm not saying that it's unjust, right? I'm saying that when you go to another people, right?
That's what you inferred to. That's what you inferred to.
No, the practice of spreading the word hasn't been just. That's what I'm saying. You're giving me the perfect condition of how to spread the word, right? I'm saying to you, it hasn't been like that accordingly, because over time, majority of I'm from Ghana, majority of the West African, right? Their slavery to date started when the Arabs came there and enslaved these people and indoctrinated them for over 1,200 years, right? Then, and remember, we weren't Christians at that time. Then the Christians came on a boat, on a westerly coast, on a boat named Jesus, right? They've come, they've enslaved them and indoctrinated them. That's why now Angola have left their practices and they're Christian. Yeah, that's why Cote d'Ivoire have left their practices and now they're Muslim.
You're saying, look, when the Muslims were there in Africa, and there are so many kingdomship, they were Muslims.
Yeah. No, they weren't Muslims.
Look, when the Muslims were there, they were Muslims.
When the
But
Muslims,
when the 7th century, the 7th century, Islam spread in Africa. I'm talking about the 7th century, not our 7th century, but your 7th century. Okay. The Common Era, 622 from the Common Era. Yeah. Now, people entered Islam. By the way, you say enslaved them. A Muslim does not enslave a Muslim. But let me tell you one thing which you do not know. You know, Islam, the religion of Allah Jalla wa Ala, is the only religion that tells you to expiate sins that you free slaves. Did you know this?
I know this. I know this. I know this.
So for me, if I commit a sin, as an expiation from that sin, I go and I buy slaves and I free them. Show me any other religion that enslave people and then just free them like that.
The instruction is just, right? But what has happened?
Yeah, but you can't follow that. You cannot. What's your name, by the way?
I'm Frank.
Frank. Ibn Hazm, yeah.
Ibn Hazm.
But, Frankie, look, you cannot, and this is you'll be unfair if you do. You cannot, for example, the mistake of some leaders make that tarnish the religion, teaching the religion.
That's what I'm doing. That's not what I'm doing.
No. But what I'm saying to you, if I can give you that, for example, some commanders of the army and that they might have committed mistake, and I can give you one. Look. In the time of Umar ibn Abdul Aziz, one of the Umayyad caliphs. You know the Umayyad. Have you heard of the Umayyad? Okay. The Umayyads are the one that entered Africa. Okay. Umar ibn Abdul Aziz was one of their caliphs. The caliphs of the Muslims at the time. Yeah. And the army went to like propagating Islam.
Right.
So they came to this place and they just went in. So the leader of the people sent an emissary to Umar bin Abdul Aziz. He said to him, look, normally you give 3 days, you send an emissary and you give 3 days and you give 3 choices. None of this was done by your commander. Your commander came and he invaded. And we feel that we've been hard done by. You know what the command of the Umar ibn Abdul Aziz, the Caliph, he said he sent a letter to the commander to abandon the city and come on the outskirts of the city with his army and send a letter with an emissary to the people, giving them their choices. And you know, when the people, they saw that, they embraced Islam because they knew the justice that is in there. Now for the mistake of one person, one commander that was zealous or overzealous, yeah. For his mistake, I cannot tarnish. But when that came to the just ruler, he straight away redressed it.
My position is this, right? Most of Africa who are Muslim today, they have a history where they didn't naturally gravitate towards Islam. A people who are Muslim came to them, have enslaved them, right, and indoctrinated them.
Where is your evidence that they have enslaved them?
So it didn't happen.
No, slavery did happen.
Yeah.
But do you understand that Muslims?
I give you evidence.
No, African Muslims were enslaved. African Muslims were enslaved.
They weren't Muslim before. They weren't Muslim before Arabs came there.
Look,
I can show you the evidence.
I'm not saying that they were Muslim before the Arab got there. That's not what I'm saying.
Wait.
I'm telling you that their enslavement was not when the Arabs got there. The enslavement started in 15th century, 16th century.
Yeah. And how long did it last for? It lasted for over 1,000 years, correct?
No. What 1,000 years? 1600 and 1500. It lasted about 300, 400 years.
No, that's false. That's 100% false. Let's be fair.
Check it.
I'm gonna ask Google.
I'm a fair person.
An honest question. I'm not gonna be biased. How long did the Arab Muslim slave trade exist on Africa? Right? So this is my question. Is it fair? I can end if you want. I said, how long did the Arab Muslim slave trade exist on Africans? Right? Typed it up. More than 13 centuries. Yeah, look, you read it. It says, yet the Arab slave trade, a major component of African history, lasted more than 13 centuries.
Yeah, but look, what is this? Wikipedia. Wikipedia,
but brother,
this is Google.
No. But you have to check the source of the information.
That's what I was gonna do.
No, brother. As a man of color, you know Orientalists. Most of the information is collected by you. So you're going to their source that would lie.
I'm going to African people.
Where's the source? The African
How long did the Muslim in slavery last in Africa?
That's why even you see when it comes to videos, I always ask people before you send me anything, validate it.
But the thing we know, I proved it to you. I proved it because I know. Okay, hold on, wait. Let me. When you
lower your voice.
Why?
No. We're not arguing.
No,
I have to learn because I have a loud voice. I'm trying to train myself to.
Yeah, but it's tone. It's speaking to school now.
No.
Lower your voice or something. That's like it's super imposing.
When you're speaking to an elder,
fair enough. That's true.
Do you want me to tell you? Frankie. Do you want me to show you? No. Do you want me to tell you why it's a lie? Why it is a lie?
Which one is a lie?
The 13th century. So the Muslims went in the 7th century. Do you agree? They went to Africa.
I know they went to Africa.
In the 7th century, from the Common Era.
Africa was the first continent
622.
they went to.
622,
Yeah.
622 they went to Africa.
So it is documented. I don't I don't believe that it's that specific time, but that's what's documented.
Now if I follow this, I'll just debunk this for you. If I follow this, it says over a millennium, over a millennium,
So
1300, Now you know down well, that us from the 15th century, the Arab, apart from the Ottoman, the Muslims, apart from the Ottoman caliphs, most of Africa was taken by who?
Well,
By
later on,
Christians, by Christians.
Yeah.
So how come that says that the Muslim Arabs have dominated slave trade in Africa for over 1300 years, meaning until the 20th century? That's a lie. Because let me tell you why, Frankie.
I'm gonna make a statement.
Okay. Of course. But I'll just tell you why, Frankie. Because Algeria was colonized and they are Muslims. Morocco was colonized and they are Muslims. Libya was colonized and they are Muslims. Tunisia was colonized and they are Muslims. Senegal was colonized and they were Muslims. Ghana was colonized and they were Muslims. And. So Nigeria and that. So all were, but by who? Not by Muslims.
But
they were Muslims. The outside people were the Christians. These Senegal, Gambia, Gambia was part of Senegal until the British make it, split it. So all of these were Muslims. They were Muslims. So what I'm trying to tell you, that the 1300, which Mr. Google has given you, it's a lie. It's a lie, because it shows that from the 7th century until the 20th century, the Muslims were the one enslaving, which is false.
Have to be careful, brother. When we use the word slave trade, the slave trade of
You're
the
right.
Passage is different from what the Arabs.
I'm engaged later, when I finish. All right? Are you good anyway?
Rise to a high position. You can actually be a leader. But in the transatlantic slave, you had no rise. You could not rise.
I couldn't rise in both.
I'll
show you why. No, but he's made a statement. You gotta let me speak.
No, speak. Yeah. But I want you to answer this.
What?
Google told you 1300 years of Muslim slavery in Africa.
That's what's been.
No. Just please. 1300. So I'm telling you, it's from. I'm telling you, it's from the 7th century to the 20th century. Now, is it true that from the 7th century to the 20th century, the Muslims were enslaving Africans?
For me, I'm open to being wrong about the specific dates, because it's just documentation. In that passage,
but it's very important. It's very important, Frankie.
Let me show you why now, because you're giving me states. Now, you've just proved to me that these people have been invaded by an outside people and now have adopted a new religion. I'm showing you, that's proof that invasiveness has an outlanding effect. Because now, today, we can recognize that Gambians are Muslim, Senegal Muslim, that same thing, Ghanaians are Christian, because of invasive behavior. None of these people, none of these people gravitated towards Islam. None of these people went to your home and gravitated towards Islam. All these people have a history of an outside people coming to them and saying, look, you need to follow my way. The same way the Christians did the same thing.
Okay.
For example, why do the Senegalese speak French? Why? Because we know an outside people have come there and colonized. So it shows you that the Senegalese speaking French today is because of what happened of the days of yesterday. But they had a different.
Look, Malaysia and Indonesia. Indonesia especially, over 200 million. It's the largest. Non-Arabs. No army went there.
Yeah, I agree.
No army went there. But how? Because of the traders. They saw traders, the way they used to trade with them and that. And that's how. Mozambique, for example, there was a ruler in there called Mozambique. Mozambique, but because of the Portuguese, they couldn't say Mozambique, they called it Mozambique. Africans, yes, there might be some slave trade. I'm not saying to you, look, I'm not trying to paint it all white for you and say, look, embellished and that. But it doesn't come back on the religion. on the
No,
religion.
the religion.
It's
I have the Quran
yes,
on me. I
yes,
read the Quran.
yes.
I'm not
So,
talking about
so,
religion.
Frankie, if the people were wrong in doing it,
Yeah.
then each individual we have to hold the individuals,
Yeah, I agree.
like I showed you that when they say 1300 years the Muslims were there, Muslims were enslaved. Muslims were enslaved at
You know,
that time.
I think there's a misconception of my rhetoric here. I am not challenging the Quran. I have the Quran.
No,
I take.
I'm not
Wait, let
saying
me
to
just
you.
say this for the audience.
Okay,
Audience
okay.
here. Let me clear it up for them. I am not painting this so that Islam is bad. No, I have the Quran on me right now. I take notes from the Quran. I derive morality from the Quran, just as I do the
Thank
Torah,
you.
the Bible. I derive morality from these books, right? So that's clear. That's clear. Now I'm talking about the practice of spreading. You gave me Malaysia and Indonesia.
Look, I am giving you this. I'm giving you this that certain individuals, might have for self.
We know.
No, for their self. Let me finish the sentence.
Sorry.
Might have indulged in this practice for self gain. Because certain people might do it for money. Others will do it just for the fun of it. Others will just do it to kill people.
Yeah.
That's why I said might. Meaning some might for the money,
Oh,
others
okay,
might for
okay.
somewhere else.
Alternative. Yeah.
Look, like when the Jesuits went to South America, they went to get the gold. They heard the gold. What they did to the natives, they perished them. They perished them. They used to tell the soldiers that they haven't got a soul. What I am trying to establish for you in here, I know you're not attacking Islam, but I'm talking as a Muslim.
Of course.
As a Muslim,
That's all right.
I cannot lie about the scriptures and that.
Yeah.
When you have scriptures that say free the slave,
Yeah.
it shows you that doctrine does not indoctrinate people to enslave people.
For me, my belief is you shouldn't even have a slave anyway.
Because, because the Prophet, peace be upon him, says there is no preference of an Arab over a non-Arab,
last sermon,
or a white over a black,
Yeah.
except by righteousness.
Piety,
So the difference between, let's say you're a Muslim and I'm a Muslim, you can be a billion times better than me because of your righteousness.
Right.
You understand?
Yeah.
And this is what the Prophet, peace be upon him, has taught us. So in some Muslims engaged in slavery for financial gains or for whatever, yes, they did that, and they have to answer to their creator regarding it. Yeah, but the fact that the Muslims have enslaved for 1300 years, you have to recheck that again, because I just gave you the example.
We can't 100%.
Yeah,
I
gave you the no. I'll tell you why.
No, I'm talking about
because
the
the imperialist. Because the imperialist West from the 1500s. Okay. That's it. The Muslims have lost Iberia, so all of them were kicked to Morocco and Algeria. Algeria was following the Ottomans. Morocco was like a dynasty, and they kept as a dynasty until the 18th century. 18th century, Algeria was taken from the Ottoman Empire, and Morocco was taken, and Tunisia and Libya and that. So how can these people be engaged in slavery where they had colonial powers already taken them? That's why I'm saying to you that that statement that they says the 1300 is.
Well, those are different parts of Africa. I'm not saying all Africa. I'm talking about specifically Western Africans. Western Africans have a long history. My belief is, what has been written down is been happened over 1,000. I'm not talking about Upper North Africa. We had different events.
But do you know that pagan? Look, what you have to understand. Let's understand one thing. In the old days, since antiquity. Slavery was a thing that was permitted. People,
it happened,
people will. Do you know the African tribes amongst themselves, they used to fight each other and enslave the other tribes?
It's not
This
that way.
is
it's the essence of that, but we didn't. Let's say for example, we didn't castrate them. We didn't remove their body parts and all that.
No, no.
But
Muslims didn't do that. Muslims didn't
there was
do
a large
that.
part of castration that happened.
Yeah.
From
Yeah, but
again, those individuals, not all Muslims, but there were individuals who happened to be Muslims.
That's what I'm saying to you.
castrated us.
That's what I'm saying to you.
Yeah.
Individuals happen to be. It's not the teaching of
Again, you know that you made a great point, right? And you gave me Indonesia, one of the most populated with Muslims,
yes,
right?
over 200 million.
They had the opportunity to gravitate towards Islam in the most just way.
Yes.
Now, as an African, would you say it's fair to say that we didn't get that chance to gravitate towards it? Maybe now, maybe today, there are Africans that gravitate towards Islam today,
Yeah.
but our inception of being Muslims was not just by those individuals.
But I'm telling you,
no, would that be fair?
Islamically, people should be given the choice.
Yeah.
Islamically, and I gave you the story of Umar ibn Abdul Aziz, which happened. If some people go against that,
right.
That's them people. That's on their heads. On the day of judgment, they have to answer for that.
We have to condemn that, right?
Of course. Look.
We don't hear that. I don't hear that.
Look, oppression. Islam came to rid people from oppression, and there is no worse oppression than people not worshiping their Creator. In the Quran, it says that the worst of oppression. Is shirk, is associating partners to God. That's the worst oppression that does exist. So if God commands a people to go, what's the point? The point is guidance. Look, as I say to you, if Islam was to look at the Copts in Egypt, nobody has enslaved them. The people went there, they paid the Jizya, and they remained. From then until today, there is still around 10 million Coptics in Egypt. 10 million Coptics in Egypt. Do you know, throughout these years, if Islam was a dominant one, was like either Islam or the sword, no Coptic would have been left.
But we know that Egypt's been...
No African would have been left.
Are the people today in Egypt the people of yesterday? Are they the Kemet people?
Yeah, Coptic people.
No, not the Coptic. The Arabs today. We both agree that they come from somewhere else, right?
No, but look, the Canaanites were in Egypt. Canaanite and other and the...
But there's been many people that have been in Egypt.
Look, you have to understand that before people used to travel because people were like herders and So when you go where you find herb and you find beverage, meaning water, and so even in Africa until now, in the Masai Mara, until now they travel with the herds, back and forth. The Tuareg in the south. You remember? I don't know if you know this, but Sudan was known to have mines of salt. So the caravans of salts, they used to be going from Morocco to Sudan, and from Sudan to Morocco all the time. Mali too, and Mali actually, if you look at it, it was like a station for the pilgrimage and that to rest in there. Well, you have to understand that because we do pilgrimage to Mecca. You know, people, they used to go through the Sahara, through the desert. So they used to go from Morocco to Algeria, Tunisia, then Libya, then Egypt, and from Egypt to Saudi. Now, do you know that these people who are Muslims, they used to be caught by bandits that are Muslims and enslaved and sold and killed.
I don't know that.
Yeah, but you didn't know that. But I'm giving you something.
I don't know if it's true or not. I just got to go back.
No, but I'm telling you, it did happen. And I'll tell you why. Because, for example, in Morocco, we haven't got priests, but how can I say? The muftis, you know, muftis is the ones that give like that give like rulings in jurisprudence. Okay. They gave a fatwa that they say people do not have to perform pilgrimage. Why? Because the route was not safe. And pilgrims, they were attacked, enslaved, and killed by so-called Muslims. It was not safe. So this kind of like, people do what people do for money, for power, look, people overthrow other people for power. People kill other people. Brother kill his brother for what? For inheritance.
Yeah.
We until today we hear these things.
Human behavior.
But it doesn't mean that a doctrine is false.
That's not, that's not what I've been saying.
No, Frankie.
You know that's not what I've been saying.
Frankie, no. But I just, yes, there were injustices.
Of course,
I say that. But I tell you what, people have lived under Islam better than they have lived under Christianity.
That's a belief.
It's not a belief. I tell you why. Spain strived. Now Spain are Catholics for 832 years. If they wanted to exterminate the Catholics, and they would have done. But no, it didn't happen. The Jews, when the Catholics took over, what did they do? When they took over, they enslaved the Muslims. They tortured them. They even not just the Muslims, even other sects of Christianity. And the Jews, where did the Jews go? They went to North Africa. So that's why Morocco, outside of Israel, is the country with the highest number of Jews.
Ethiopia?
No, not Ethiopia. Not Ethiopia. It's Morocco. Morocco. If you Google it, you will find it. So with the highest number of Jews in that time, because all the Jews of Iberia, they went there. The Muslims that could buy themselves under, they did. So people thrived with Islam. First university in Europe, it was in Cordoba. People.
But you understand that's a group of people that thrive under that. You're naming people that have thrived under a doctrine, and that's fine. That's fine. But there are people that thrive under different religions. Do you understand that? There are people that thrive under Hinduism, Buddhism, Sikhism. They thrive in their own way.
Yeah, I'm not saying.
We have.
No, but because you talk about colonization, and I'm telling you, a colonizer, when he comes, they come to take. Look at the state of Africa now. Yeah, to take. No, well, how did I do?
Because they took slaves. They took slaves from this. They didn't just stay there and indoctrinate them and left. They enslaved people and left with them. No, yeah.
All the Arabs did it.
Oh, but I'm saying these practices happen. The same way.
We're gonna agree to disagree. Frankie, nice talking to you.
Nice talking to you. We're gonna have part two.
Part two next week, inshallah.
No problem.
inshallah. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك.